Back pain and stiffness have a way of making everything feel just a little harder, whether it's getting comfortable at night, moving through your day, or simply feeling good in your body. The good news, a little focused movement can go a long way. In this session, we'll work through a series of seated and standing stretches and mobility exercises designed to ease tension in your back, hips, and neck so that you can move more freely and feel more like yourself. These are great to do anytime you've been sitting for too long, whether it's at a desk, in the car, or even just relaxing. So, grab a chair without arms is best. We'll use it for standing support and for some seated stretches. Let's get moving. Let's warm up. So after finding a stance a little wider than hip distance apart, inhale and just roll your shoulders forward and up, and then allow them to drop back and down. This will give us an opportunity to find any tension in the neck and shoulders and the jaw, but also we're going to start to connect our breathing and our movement. So inhale forward and up, exhale back and down. Let's do one more. Think about bringing your ears over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips. This next movement is called an hourglass. And imagine the shape of an hourglass. I'm going to open my stance a bit. Moving the hips away from the shoulders, you are going to become an hourglass as you circle the hips and circle the shoulders in opposing directions. You can start with a small range of motion. Make sure it feels good. And then let's go the opposite direction. If this feels uncomfortable or awkward, it might feel awkward until your brain figures it out. You could just go with hip circles. And let's move straight into cat-cow. So bring your feet a little closer together, sliding your hands down or using the back of your chair. Sink your hips, and then let's round, tucking the tailbone under for this rounded lower back. Open your shoulder blades, nod your head, and hollow your belly out. Inhale, lift your tailbone, arch your back, and look up the wall. So it's exhale, round, and inhale, arch. So we're moving, we're articulating the spine, getting ready for the stretches and mobility movements that are coming. Let's do this one more time. Exhale, find your pain-free range, and inhale. And then roll all the way up. Shoulders back and down. Just nod your head, yes. So we're gonna say the affirmative, yes. And then look over towards your right shoulder. We'll nod a few times. And then roll the chin towards the chest. And then all the way to the left shoulder, where you will nod twice. Rolling down, and then let's just leave the nods and we'll just roll back and forth, noticing how this feels in the neck as you drop your shoulders. Let's get all the way back to the right side. Breathing, exhaling and inhaling. And then look straight ahead. Opening your stance for some rotations, some spinal rotations. Think about rotating from the waist. Draw your abdominals in and up. So we're braced here. There's a gentle push out at the waist. So you feel nice and strong and protected. Just tap your hips side to side. So one side is tapping the front and one side is tapping the back. Try and drive this from your core. Relax your arms and tap side to side. It's okay if your hips move, but start at the waist and we'll progress. Look side to side, and then you can start moving at the hip, pivoting the foot side to side. A few more, that's all we need. Coming back to center, roll your shoulders back and down. I'm gonna step halfway in. And then gliding side to side. Now this isn't a movement we do all the time, so I suggest placing your hands on your rib cage. And again, find that bracing in your core, gliding your rib cage right and left. It's okay if you're not gliding very much. We're really working with some deep stabilizing muscles, but we're challenging our range of motion and finding a different type of movement maybe than we're used to. All right, back to center. And then rolling the right shoulder back, reach up and pat yourself on the back. You can reach the elbow up as far as it wants to go. And then as you lean over, support yourself and reach straight up to the sky. So feel the length from the armpit to the hip. Reach and come to center. Let's do the other side. So reach all the way up and back, and then pat yourself on the back, lift, feel armpit to hip, and then supported, you can reach up. Hands come behind the back, lift your heart. You can either support on your lower back or extend and just feel that nice stretch without arching your lower back. Your knuckles reach to the floor, or your hands are on the back and you're opening the chest. All right, let's get to the chair. So as you find your chair, I'm going to ask you to sit forward in your chair, away from the chair back. So sitting forward in the chair, just shift from hip to hip without falling out of your chair. Shift hip to hip. Your heels can lift side to side, or you can plant your feet and focus, now that you're warm, on the action in the waist. Ear over shoulders, shoulders over hips, so your head's back and your shoulders have dropped down. Lift and feel the side of the body, side to side. Breathe in and out. Now let's start moving. So we'll shift the hip back, walk, and front. So lifting as far as your body wants to, as far as it allows. Nothing should hurt during the session, but you're definitely challenging your range of motion. All right, a muscle that can cause some challenges with the back, causing a little discomfort, stiffness, and even pain, is a hamstring. So I'm going to turn onto the corner, this side corner, the left corner of my chair, and take my right leg, yes, I'm mirroring you, and extend it out. So let's get into the hamstring, the back, the posterior kinetic chain, and part of the calf, hamstring, and glute kind of complex here. Inhale. And exhale and point and flex. So your leg is long, but it's not locked. Chest up, support on your thigh, and then start to hinge forward as you pull your toe back towards your shin. And feel the stretch in the back of your leg. Kind of mark your range of motion. Notice how far that you are hinging forward. If you start to round, you'll notice the stretch comes out of the back of the leg, out of the hamstring. Pull the toe back more for more calf. Take one more big breath in through the nose. Exhale and try to unclench. And then let's come up. You can relax, point and flex, and we're gonna do just a little bit of contracting here. So a contract, release stretch. Pulling the toe back. We're gonna go back to that same stretch. So hinge forward. Find that range of motion. Gentle bend in the knee, but it's straight. Now press your heel down into the floor until you feel your calf and your hamstring light up. This is at your end range for the stretch, and it's not at a 10 out of 10. Maybe it's at a 3 or a 4 out of 10, and your posture is neutral, your head's back. Let's do it for just one more breath. And then come all the way back up. Now, this is where, if you've noticed your range of motion in the past stretch, you might surprise yourself. So dorsiflex, pull that toe back towards the shin, and then let's hinge forward again. So hinge forward, and you might find that you have a little deeper range of motion here. Just breathe, maybe 2 more breaths, try to unclench. Nod your head, yes. You're so glad you're stretching your hamstring. And come on back up. We're gonna get into a little different muscle group that can cause some tightness and discomfort. So let's work in the hip flexor group and the quad here on the right leg. So find this lunging stance here, and you'll tip and tuck the pelvis a little bit, finding neutral spine, which is somewhere between the tip and the tuck, the posterior and the anterior tilt. Your knee might be further forward, it might be further back than mine, and that's okay. So find that muscle that feels tight in the bend of the hip, in the crease of the hip, give it a little massage. And then push down on your feet as though you're gonna come up out of the chair, but don't worry, you're not going to. Feel your glute squeeze, and imagine you can lift that glute up to the back of your waist. You can elevate it. So squeeze it, and that'll cause the front of the hip to start to relax. Inhale, hinge forward, and exhale, come back to neutral. You can even come a little bit further back if your lower back tolerates it and feels good. Let's try it again. Come back. You can hold on to the chair back once you're in neutral and reach up and over the back of the chair. I'm looking towards my chair back as well. Lifting your heart, come back to center. All right, facing front, forward in your chair, opening your stance. Make sure that your knees are out instead of in. Chest up, just hinge forward. Your head's above your heart, but you can definitely feel your inner thighs. Breathe. And then rotate towards your rib cage, towards the left side of the room without cranking on your back or pushing on your thighs. And then let's come to center, reset, and do the other side. It's okay to hear some cracking and popping, but it shouldn't hurt. As we come to the other side of the chair for our left hamstring stretch. So flex and point, you know the drill now. I don't need to explain as much. We're gonna push the right foot into the floor, lift the chest and hinge forward until you feel a stretch. Now one side might feel a little tighter than the other, and that's a-okay. So we're different side to side. The more you wanna feel your calf, the more you'll need to pull your toe dorsiflex towards your shin. Chest up, beautiful posture. Breathe, find your end range, try and unclench, and then come back up. Shake it off, give yourself a moment, flex and point, pump the gas pedal, and then let's find our position. Again, we've already marked how far we've hinged, how deep that stretch is. So hinge forward, find your end range again. Again, remember to dorsiflex. And then we'll press the heel into the floor, lightly, not at 100%. But can you feel the back of the legs start to fire up? You can look between the knees to the floor. Notice your core bracing. One more breath. Keep that intensity going. Come back up, relax. And then let's go right back into it. And this is the time to notice, did this give you a little more room to work with, a little more length in the back of your leg? One more big breath. I'm gonna sigh, say ha. That's it. It just feels good. It releases your whole body when you sigh. So turning to the right side of the room, the same hamstring stretch is gonna work on this side. As you tip and tuck, find neutral. Your foot might be further back, maybe further forward, but give yourself a little massage if you feel tightness. A little, you can play the piano on your thigh or your hip bend, your hip crease. And then push down as though you're gonna get out of the chair and feel your glute engage. So feel the derriere, the gluteals, and then sit up tall. We'll hinge forward and then come on back. You can even reach up and over the chair, looking at the chair back, releasing, and coming back to center. All right, notice how you're feeling. Do a little rotation with the rib cage, and then come up to a standing position. We're almost done, but I'm gonna stand next to my chair for support, for balance support, as we do kind of a pelvic hip hitch. And it won't feel like a hitch, it'll feel great. So feet about hip distance apart. Optimally, you'll have a stair or you'll even be standing on a yoga block. But I want you to feel the right side of your waist as you elevate your right foot slightly and lift and lower the hip. So feel the muscles on the side between your rib cage and your pelvis. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Squeeze the waist, squeeze, draw your belly in, shoulders back, and relax. Let's do the other side. It's not very glamorous looking, but it really kind of resets your hip, your pelvis. Does one side feel stronger than the other? Let's do 2 more. Last one. And then we're gonna check in with our cat-cow. So go ahead and let's redo the cat-cow. Knees are slightly bent, hands on your thighs for support. Rounding your back for that posterior tilt. Open your shoulder blades, look at your belly button, hollow. Exhaling and inhaling. Try one more. Notice, are there any changes? Do you feel a little more length? Do you feel less tightness? Let's round all the way up. Do your hourglass. And we've come full circle, my friends. Let's go the other direction. Literally, we've come full circles. All that's left is to take a breath. Inhale the shoulders forward and up, and exhale them back and down. Enjoy the release of tension in your back muscles, in your neck and shoulders, even in your jaw as we take this one last shoulder roll. Inhaling and exhaling. The key to lasting relief is consistency. Even a few minutes of stretching and mobility work on most days can make a real difference in how you feel. Just remember, move in a way that feels good for your body, never forcing through any pain, and always breathe deeply. So stay strong, stay flexible, and keep moving, and I'll see you next time.